Now, of course, as always with visuals, never really attach yourself to them. They're not to be picked apart with and try to be like, taken literally, but rather just used as a visual to sort of point to something maybe more effectively than words can. So, um, so this is the first visual I wish to share with you. I just made it recently, like 15 minutes ago. It's similar to the visual that I used to have on my board before, like last year. And it sort of represents what self-inquiry really is. If you've read Ramana Maharshi's teachings before, he always uses the example of like the mind is like it's like a web, right? It's or it's like the spider that emits the web. When it emits the web outward, all these names and forms appear. What we know as our experience of the self and the world. And so self-inquiry is like retracting the web within into its source. So the web outward is like the projection, is the dream, and retracting the dream into its own self, into its own source, which is I. That's the practice of self-inquiry. So you'll see over here, I just had like a little representation of you. We can see, are you able to see my mouse? Okay, wonderful. This side we can say is like the dream, which is our experience of the world, our experience of our individual personal self, which is the body. And then as we go a little subtler to the right, it's our experience of our personality, self-image, which is thought. And then even subtler is the knower of all of this, that which even in all of that changes in this dream, the only thing that doesn't change in the realm of the dream is the knower of it, is what we experience as at the heart of our experience at all times, regardless of if we're young or old, healthy or sick, happy or unhappy, is just the self that of which the projection is, it's what we experience as I, myself. It's the knower of our experience. It's the witness of all that appears, including the what we call physical reality, the world, our experiences, right, circumstances, along with the body. It is witnessed by myself, along with even the subtle thoughts and emotions and feelings and sensations, which are not physical, yet they are also known by me. And regardless of how much this dream changes and, goes here or there always seems to be an I at the heart of it, at the center of it, experiencing, knowing. So the teaching of self-inquiry is this whole sort of projection thrives out of constant association of the I with the projection. So the I is constantly associating with thought, identifying with appearances, body, world. Constant describing, constant judging, constant analysis, constant projection, past, future, This keeps the dream healthy and alive. This keeps the distortion, the appearance, seeming to be what is real and true. This is the web being completely spun outward. Self-inquiry is us retracting this web, by learning to not remain immersed in objects, which are the appearances of the dream, but rather learning to discern what is not changing at the heart of my experience, what is stable and not changing in any shape or form. And that is just our sense of being. It's look at the heart of your experience right now, and you don't have to turn anywhere to look at it. Yeah, you can't even look inside of your body. It's just what you experience as me here, now, knowing. It is the only thing inside of the dream that is not an object. All things are objects to it, to me. So we retract the web by losing interest in what we know, in what we see, and being interested only in that which knows, that which sees, which is I. And we can see this as like a little doorway. And so this is the retracting of the dream into the self, which is beyond this little I, where there is no subject or object, unknown. Yet at the same time, I don't want you to, again, the visual fails here because, it shouldn't depict that this is on the other side of this, or this is on in some other realm in which what, and it's not this, because then we're trying to like chase an escape outside of this. But see it as this is the source of this. This never is not. Just like silence, even though unseen, is never not, even when there's great noise. Noise temporarily appears out of silence and subsides right back into silence. Noise is the temporary appearance. It never really is. It simply appears and disappears. And so, in that way, we can say all is that. So, what we'll be doing today and what we usually practice, and the entire self inquiry teaching, is just retracting this dream back into retracting this web back into its source, which is I. I is the source of mind. I is mind. So that is what we'll be sort of doing a guidance on today. The two main points I want to emphasize is one, losing interest in what we know, at least for the moments of practice, completely dropping interest in all that we know. Even if there's great resistance that arises to this, it is simply an object. It is simply known. Care not for it. You simply keep sort of readjusting the interest or the attention to the knowing, the knower, myself. It's not even a step away from you. So you can feel free to close your eyes. And see this to be the case. You look into your experience right now and see that no matter how much thought is arising, no matter what you're feeling, no matter the contents of your current experience, which is, oh, you're on a meditation and you're inside of this room or whatever, at the heart of it is me, myself. You're not talking about this. You're not thinking about this. You're simply acknowledging that I am here. Even the thinking that is arising is appearing to me. I see it come and go, yet I remain. So for this moment, care not for what you know, for the thought and what it says, and simply fall back. Bring your attention to the knowing of it. Acknowledge the me that knows. You see, with your eyes closed, many things appear. Maybe it's some sort of visuals or some words. Acknowledge that whatever appears, no matter how colorful or boring, I am aware of it. See if the I that is aware of it, see if that is a thing that appears. What is that made of? What does that consist of? You can't think about it. You can only bring your attention to it and be it. When you try to bring your attention to the self, to I, You just sink into wordless being, wordless knowing. And no matter how many thoughts appear, are they not appearing to you, the knower of them? No matter what arises, you relentlessly continue to just drop it, have no care for it, lose all interest in what appears, and be only interested in the knowing itself, which itself is silent, wordless, and not even a step away from you. See clearly, so clearly, that the self, you, have no form. All form, you know, yet you are the only thing in this projected dream experience that is formless, here and now. The thinker and the thoughts are both witnessed by you, the formless knower, knowing. Acknowledge your own knowingness, which is not an activity being seen to appear and disappear. It is the witness of the thinking, the feeling, the sensing, the doing, the happening. Of all things, there is one witness, me, myself. Right now, we know ourselves as forms. We know what we appear to be, the body and the person we take ourselves to be, right? Well, right now, we must clearly see ourselves as the formless. Acknowledge your formless nature as the merely the knowing, the I at the heart of your experience. The moment the mind starts thinking about this, simply become aware of it. Become aware of the fact that there's awareness of thought and let the thought go. Not important. Become aware of being aware, which itself is silent and wordless. You are not a person being aware. You are the witness of the person, the formless witness of the person, here and now. That which hears these words right now is not a form, is not a somebody with a name. Simply follow the sense I. Pursue I. The moment the mind starts up again and starts thinking, just pursue the sense I. Follow the sense I. It will automatically drop off, leaving you as simply the witnessing, the knowing, not necessarily knowing something, simply knowing. The moment you begin pursuing I, following I, notice how the mind automatically drops off. Interest in what you know automatically drops off. You need not struggle against the mind. You simply need to turn to the source. Acknowledge your own knowingness, beingness, awareness, and the appearance falls away. Then not only the projections of mind, but also our experiences, they begin to lose their solidity. They begin to lose their sense of reality, importance, significance. They begin to be seen as what they are, appearances. But that's simply secondary. What is the main sort of we can say effect of this is that, again, the web is being retracted into its source. Delusion and hypnosis is being replaced with understanding, clarity, wisdom. The question, who am I, is simply a mechanism which turns your attention away from appearances, objects, to the knower of them, I, me, myself, which is the only thing in the realm of objective experience which is not changing. Therefore, it is the doorway. We must walk through it. So it's quite simple. Be interested only in the self, not what the self is aware of. Be interested only in yourself, at least in the moments of practice. Totally drop interest in what you know. Marinate in the knowing itself. And the rest will take care of itself. It's not to be done.